And joining us live in studio is the man of the moment, Mr. Herman Mashaba. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Prime. The sticking point in taking over Johannesburg is ultimately you. Malema wants you gone, yet your party says no. Are you willing to sacrifice your mayoral ambitions to pave the way for the Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg?
Lauren, when I availed myself to serve as the DA mayoral candidate for the city of Johannesburg, I went through a rigorous process of the selection by the DA Electoral College, and I was therefore elected on the 27th of January and confirmed. And I went on a massive 7 months campaign trail, asking people of Johannesburg to vote DA and I into power. And we're fortunate enough, 38% of the voters of Johannesburg gave us that mandate. Absolutely, obviously would have wished to have absolute majority, but as Democrats, we respect the will of the people, and the people of Johannesburg are saying to us as the DA, they're comfortable with us with the 38%. It's up to us to find a way to put together a government that can take our city forward, and that's really what we're prepared to do.
Now, Malema says you insulted poor black people. Can you please put into context these statements that he talks about on BEE, poor people and corruption, and race-based policies? You know, what is your response to
Look, I think,
these
Lauren,
words of
it's
Malema?
not really necessary for us to get into these issues because I've addressed this so many times, including the EFF must be very much aware about my views on these particular issues. As you're aware, I've been a businessman in this country for over 30 years. And over 30 years to build myself business, employ lots of people. Fortunate enough, I built my business on the back of really working with our communities. My family and I, over the last 30 years, we spend millions of our family money into our communities. We don't do it because we're trying to please anyone. We don't advertise them. But fortunate enough, people who've worked with me, including the EFF, is very much aware of my involvement in communities. I've written 2 books, one Black Like You, about my life. People who read and are interested to actually know me, it is there, and it's not really up to me to really debate those issues that the EFF have raised, and I think we respect that decision. For me, I take instructions from the DA, and we take ultimately instructions from the voters, because for us as the DA, the ultimate power does not lie with us. The ultimate power lies with the voters. And you look at DA, our achievement this time around. We were the only party that enjoyed more than 4% growth. No single party in this country can demonstrate the growth that the Democratic Alliance has demonstrated. So what we are saying is, voters in this country, particularly in Johannesburg, have got confidence in us. And if people of Johannesburg want us to serve them in whatever capacity, whether we're going to be the government or we're going to be an opposition, that's what I'm personally prepared to do on behalf of the mandate bestowed on us by the voters.
Now, it needs to be finalized by next week when the council meets to vote for leaders. What are your expectations? What do you think will come?
Well, it's interesting. We're going to go into council, and we're hoping that EFF is not, like they made a commitment yesterday, that they would not want to see Jacob Zuma and ANC taking back power. And that's really, for me, one of the most critical drivers behind me joining the political field was to ensure that we can dislodge this ANC arrogance and corruption and power. And the voters of Johannesburg have done that. And EFF came out quite clear yesterday that they would not want to see ANC back in power. So we trust that when the voting happens, that the EFF is going to be there with us so that we can address the challenges that our city is facing. High unemployment, 36% of our people are unemployed, 1 in 3. And particularly the people who are unemployed are black the people and the youth. So we need to come out with plans to address this issue. People of Alexander, people of Carsons, they don't have water, they don't have toilets. So, and I went out to ask people of Johannesburg to give me the mandate. Given the opportunity to be the mayor, I need to make sure that we can increase our infrastructure spend to ensure that we can go and give these communities the dignity. That's something I'm committed to. We must fight corruption at all levels. Under our administration as the DA, we've proven in the Western Cape, where everywhere where we govern, that corruption is a public enemy number one. So if anybody agrees with us that we've got to tackle corruption, let us stop stealing from our poor communities. Let us invest this money into our communities. If you look at Johannesburg, in terms of misspending of public monies, unauthorized, irregular expenditure, over the 5 years under the ANC government, 5.3 billion rands. So can you imagine? That's the kind of money. How many houses would have built? How many roads would have constructed for our people? So that is why we're saying is EFF, help us, because at the end of the day, people of Johannesburg are the ones who are going to benefit if you cooperate with us in ensuring that we can deliver this. And at the same time, make sure that we keep ANC out of power.
And now Malema says that they will not get into power through the back door, but is he not playing power politics already by doing this?
Well, I think this, Laura, it's something that I would like to leave to the EFF to really make a decision. What we're asking them to do, so please, if you care about the poor South Africans, join us as the DA. Fortunate enough, I will represent a party that has proven beyond any reasonable doubt. Look at what we're doing in the Western Cape. Why do you think DA keeps growing in the Western Cape? Why do you think DA managed to grow in Midvar? It's because our government, us as a DA, our focus in ensuring that we give our poor communities the dignity, make sure that we look after the money, because public money is not our money. This money belongs to our communities, and we've got to spend that money accordingly. And that's what personally I'm committed to do, and I wish and hope that the EFF can join us and all the other parties in ensuring that we can deliver on our the manifestos.
In Parliament, we all can see how rowdy it gets in there. Are you bracing yourself for an equally charged council chamber?
Well, it's going to be interesting, but I think if you look at how our democracy is involved, people of Johannesburg, of South Africa, had enough of ANC abuse over the last 22 years. In fact, the first 5 years, 10 years, ANC without any doubt. Let's give them credit where it's due. The first 10 years, ANC delivered. But unfortunately, at the moment, it's not the ANC of Mandela, it's not the ANC of Thabo Mbeki. This is a completely new ANC that is self-serving. So our people deserve to get a new government. And the voters of Johannesburg said to us, no one political party is going to be given the ultimate authority to run the country. So I believe all of us have got that responsibility to apply our minds, to navigate this, to find each other so that we can serve our communities.
Mr. Herman Mashaba, thank you so much for your time here on Morning Prime. We really do appreciate it. That was the DA mayoral candidate Herman Mashaba live in studio.